In part 3, I said that the most important thing you can do to have a successful online live event is to make a great show, and that's definitely true. But it's also true that there's a little bit of technology involved, and it's technology that you may or may not already be familiar with. But it's also technology that you can master fairly easily. You shouldn't let it intimidate you, and you definitely shouldn't let it stop you from moving into online live events. If it seems difficult to start, it's probably just because it's unfamiliar. And I saw this close up for the first time in the mid-90s when the internet was first becoming popular. Some companies sat on the sidelines of the revolution that was going on because of the perceived technology barrier, but the technology was never as big and bad as they imagined. So those that did make the investment to get over the hump, to break that little bit of inertia, to get started, were the ones that tended to reap the biggest rewards. So if you don't want to learn the tech yourself or handle it internally, that's okay, because there are so many people who already understand the tools that you can easily find affordable, qualified freelancers or organizations that can handle it for you. I will say, though, it will help to have a basic understanding of what's going on so that you can make a better hire and a better decision. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to need to know that you might not already know if you're a live event producer and you want to make the leap to online live events. You're going to have to film your event. You're going to have to capture it to broadcast it online. Your current staff might already have some expertise in this, maybe a lot, and you don't need a ton of expensive equipment. You can go a long way with $1,000 or so, and in a pinch, some high-end phones and tablets can even do a decent job. But if you're serious about online events, you'll eventually want to make a bigger investment that will continue to serve you as your productions evolve and get better. Now, when filming, you also have to think differently about production. A camera just pointed at a stage won't result in an exceptional live event. Think, for example, about how film and TV are shot. Multiple cameras and angles are used to create drama and different perspectives, and you can add effects that would be impossible in an in-person event like close-ups. But with all this, you can feel free to start very simple, because even with a simple setup, you can still have a big impact. And then as you build skill and experience, you can make it more complex and more sophisticated. In addition to your filming equipment, you're going to need some streaming and recording software known as encoding software. And there are tons of options here, but one of the most popular is called OBS Studio. It's both free and user-friendly, which is great. And it might seem a little complex at first, but there are really only a few simple things you need to know in order to use it. The software allows you to pull together all the different sources of audio and video from your production and deliver them as a streaming performance. You can go to YouTube, for example, and watch any number of tutorials on OBS Studio that can walk you through the basics in just 15 or 20 minutes. It's so simple, in fact, that I did it myself recently. I can now manage a live stream all by myself. In fact, gamers on Twitch and other platforms like that use OBS and similar tools to stream their shows, so it's a very common skill. And like I said, there's a good chance that somebody on your staff or in your crew already knows how to do this pretty well. And if not, in a pinch, you could always go to a freelance marketplace like Upwork.com and find affordable, skilled help. And once you have your audio and video content coming into your encoding software, you need to find a place to stream it. There are a lot of options here, including Stellar, of course, and you'll need a ticketing platform of some kind if you plan to sell access to the stream. Of course, with Stellar, the ticketing platform is integrated directly into the streaming platform, but there are other ways to go too. They're just not as good. So to sum up, you need to produce your live show, capture the audio and video, put that into your encoding software, and finally, stream it somewhere. And what better place than Stellar, where the ticketing is also elegantly integrated into everything else you're doing. When it comes to online live events, it's like those early days on the web all over again. And just like those early days on the web, once again, the opportunities are enormous. I want to make sure that everybody in our industry, everybody who's been so badly affected by the pandemic, gets to take full advantage. So stop worrying and learn the tech. You'll be glad you did.